There is a difference between a job, a career, and a vocation. Viktor Frankl held this distinction with unusual precision because his clinical practice was full of people who had careers and lacked vocations, and who were suffering for this without knowing it. A job, in this framework, is what you do to earn the money required to live. A career is the accumulation of jobs that share a recognizable trajectory and accrue status, expertise, or income over time. A vocation, from the Latin vocare, to call, is something different. A vocation is the work that addresses you specifically. It is the contribution that the world somehow needs you in particular to make. It is what no one else can do quite the way you can do it. Frankl believed every human being had a vocation in this sense, though not everyone discovered theirs. The vocation could be the same as the job, or different from it. It could be visible to others, or invisible. It could be famous or completely obscure. What made it a vocation was not its social form but its inner structure, that the person experienced it as addressed to them, that the doing of it called something specific from them that no one else's doing would call, and that the world received something irreplaceable through their performance of it. The parent raising a child has a vocation. The specific child needs that specific parent, and no substitute will do quite the same work. The friend who is the one person another particular friend can confide in has a vocation in that relationship, and the relationship would not be what it is with another friend in the same role. The carpenter who makes furniture with the specific care she brings to it has a vocation, even if other carpenters also make furniture. The doctor who treats his patients as the unique people they are has a vocation, even if other doctors also practice medicine. Frankl believed the contemporary world had largely lost the language of vocation, and that this loss was a source of considerable suffering. People sought careers, paths of advancement, social validation, income. They did not seek vocations. The result was a population of people who succeeded at their careers and still felt empty, because the career had never been the deeper question. The deeper question was, is this work specifically addressed to me? Am I doing what only I can do? Or am I doing what any of 1,000 other people could do, in a slot that does not require me as a unique person? Frankl's clinical practice was full of patients in this condition. They had impressive careers and reported that something was missing. They could not name it. Often they tried to fix it by acquiring more, a better job, a higher position, a more prestigious title. The fix did not work because the missing thing was not on the career ladder. It was vocational. Frankl's intervention was to help these patients ask the question they had been avoiding. What is asked of you, specifically? Not what does the world reward? Not what does your peer group respect? What is your situation actually asking from you, that no one else can give? The question was difficult to answer honestly. It required setting aside what one had been told to want and listening to something subtler, the call that was present in one's own particular existence. The answer was often, surprisingly, close at hand. The patient who had been climbing one ladder discovered that their vocation was somewhere different, sometimes a smaller role, sometimes a different field, sometimes a deepening of what they were already doing but with a new sense of why. The vocation, once recognized, did not always make the person richer or more successful. It made them more fully themselves. The work became saturated with meaning that it had previously lacked. Frankl was careful to insist that vocation was not necessarily romantic. It could be modest. It could be unglamorous. It could be invisible to anyone but the person themselves. The grandfather whose vocation, in his 9th decade, was to be a steady presence for his grandchildren, was no less vocational than the entrepreneur building a famous company. The cleaner who took particular care with a hospice room because she knew the dying patient would be in that room, had a vocation, even if no one outside the room ever knew. The question Frankl invited each of his patients, and each of his readers, to ask was not what career do you want? It was, what is being asked of you, here, now, that only you can answer? The honest pursuit of that question was, in his view, the path to a life that mattered.